My boyfriend and I are in an interracial relationship. He has outstanding looks, while I have an average appearance and a slightly plump figure. But no matter what others say, we will take time out every day to watch videos and do some boring and seemingly stupid things over and over again. To give him a surprise, I saved up enough money to buy a ticket to England. That night, I waited outside his apartment until midnight. But I saw him coming back with another pretty and sunny girl, talking and laughing. The moment he saw me, his smile froze on his face and he hurriedly let go of the girl's hand. It's not what you think. 1. Why didn't you call me after you got off the plane? It's not as safe here as it is in China. Joseph Miller came over, took off his coat and put it on my shoulders, holding my frozen purple hands. I suppressed my emotions and pulled my hand back. I'll give it to you. But the person who picked up the phone was not him. Under Joseph's puzzled gaze, the pretty girl next to him said, "Excuse me. Brother Joseph, my question is, weren't you discussing the project with them at that time? Your phone was on the table, so I answered it for you. I asked her to call later, but I didn't expect that her phone ran out of battery later. The girl is very beautiful and is stunning to be spotted at first sight in the crowd. Just one glance and you'll fall in love with it. This is also the first time I have seen such a beautiful girl in real life. Standing next to Joseph, the couple is a perfect match." The girl came up to me and buttoned my coat for me. "Don't blame Brother Joseph, it's all my fault. You haven't been wronged, have you?" I shook my head. "No." The girl glanced at Joseph and said in a familiar and natural manner, "If you have been wronged, you must tell me, otherwise Brother Joseph will not let me go." Hearing this, Joseph also laughed. "Who dares to bully you? Your group of suitors will kill me. By the way, I haven't introduced you yet. This is my girlfriend Mia Taylor, and this is Sophia, my friend." Sophia, what a nice name. It matches her bright and generous appearance very well. It wasn't until Sophia followed Joseph upstairs that I asked him, "Do you live together?" Sophia responded playfully. Joseph took out a quilt and added a pillow. "You came alone? Actually, you don't have to come. I'll come to see you when I'm done. Besides, I'm only out for a year, and it's almost over now." In Joseph's heart, I am still that country bumpkin who only knows how to study and has never been abroad or taken a plane. I have no experience of traveling alone, let alone flying across the ocean to a foreign country. Well, I came at a bad time. I didn't question why he was holding Sophia's hand when he just came back. All my emotions were exhausted during the 7 hours I waited for him. All the strategies recorded in the notebook seemed like a joke. The moment I saw Joseph and Sophia walking towards me with a smile, I felt more numb than anything else. In fact, everything has a traceable path. In the past month, ever since Joseph mentioned that he had joined a project, our original pattern of getting along was disrupted. From making time every day for video chats, telling each other every detail of the interesting things in life, to later making various excuses every day to refuse video chats, saying that they were too busy and had no time to reply to messages. The jet lag is taking a toll on us. Even though I found out that Joseph, who had never liked these academic projects, actually started to participate in them for the first time, and even though I felt that Joseph had been becoming more and more perfunctory towards me recently, I still deceived myself into believing him. Since he is busy, I will come to see him. You know that's not what I meant. Joseph buried his head in my neck as he did before, breathing shallowly. I've been so exhausted by the project lately that I've neglected you, and Mia has been wronged. I avoided his touch by making an excuse to take a shower. After taking a shower and turning off the lights, Joseph put his arm around my waist and said in a low voice, "Mia, I missed you so much." "Joseph, I'm on my period." Joseph paused and withdrew his hand, as if his fun was dampened. His phone screen lit up, as if someone had sent him a message. Joseph turned on the light without hesitation, walked to the desk and turned on the computer. "You go to sleep first. I'll look at the project for a while." I watched him open the project file without changing a single word but taking several photos in a row. He looked at his phone more than 10 times in 1 minute, and the smile on his face never stopped. Half an hour later, he seemed to suddenly remember my existence, turned around and apologized. "Sorry, Mia. There is something that needs to be changed in the project. I've been busy with the project lately, so you don't really understand it. By the way, don't be fooled by Sophia's gentle appearance. She was more aggressive than anyone else in the project debate. She challenged the other team brilliantly. She spoke fluent English. We men are all ashamed of ourselves. When he said this, his tone actually contained a hint of pride. Joseph, do you know her well? I just asked him in a very normal tone. But Joseph seemed to be suddenly irritated. Mia, please don't be angry. I'm also very tired when I'm abroad. It's rare for you to come to see me. I don't want anything unpleasant to happen between us. 2. Joseph has been the school hunk since junior high school. There are countless girls chasing after him. There are pink love letters in the desk pockets. His academic performance is average, but he is proficient in various activities other than studying, such as playing games and basketball. He has a cheerful and sunny personality. Since junior high school, because of my good relationship with Joseph, people often mention him and me. The more dazzling he is, the more ordinary I look. But he never cared about other people's opinions. He went to school and went home with me as usual every day, went out with me on weekends, and bought me gifts when he saw that I was in a bad mood. It wasn't until high school, when I decided to gradually distance myself from him, that he became anxious. He hurriedly explained to the person who confessed to him, I have a girl I like. Mia. This was the first time I heard from him that he liked me. What's wrong with her? She has a good personality, good grades, and sings beautifully. He enumerated many of my strengths. Then he asked me if I was willing to be with him. I agreed, because I like him too. But these negative comments did not change because Joseph and I were together. It seems that appearance is what matters most at that age compared to grades and character. People who are good-looking are naturally luckier than those who are average-looking. Our photo was posted online, and there were a lot of negative comments below it. They said I was plain-looking, that I had a bad figure, and that I brought shame to Joseph. Some people even photoshopped my face into a school beauty, saying, it looks much better this way. Every time I see these comments, Joseph gets angrier than I do. He found those people and argued with them, saying that they were not as good as a finger of mine and that I was the most beautiful in his heart. Knowing my low self-esteem, he would praise me for being cute every day and buy me a lot of beautiful flowers. I spent time learning how to dress and put on makeup. Not only did I spend time with little effect, but my grades also dropped significantly. Joseph wiped off my eyeliner and lipstick. Mia, I like you. You don't need to change yourself. We were both under pressure from public opinion, and we stayed together for 3 years. College entrance examination watershed. He failed and was eventually sent abroad by his family, and I was admitted to the top university in the country as I wished. The day he went abroad, I cried my eyes out. He patiently comforted me over and over again, saying, my dear, you are so outstanding, I should be worried that someone else will snatch you away. We should video chat every day and keep in touch. I'll be gone for a year, and when I come back, I'll come to see you. To put me at ease, he took me to meet his family and preliminarily confirmed our relationship. I thought that with the double insurance, he and I would be able to survive this year abroad. But I underestimated the time difference, underestimated the distance, and overestimated the feelings. Just as Joseph was closing his computer, there was a sound of breaking glass from next door. He rushed out of the room in a hurry. I called out to him, trying to make sure my tone didn't sound strange. Where are you going so late? Something seems to have happened over there with Sophia. I'll go check it out. The funny thing is, Sophia didn't even call him, he just went there without a care. 3. Joseph has been out for 2 hours and hasn't come back yet. His cell phone was still in the room. I accidentally touched my phone and the screen lit up. The screensaver is a photo of Sophia. She smiles at the camera, surrounded by a colorful theme park backdrop. I recognize this scene. Joseph once posted a circle of friends in this theme park. He said this was the location of their reunion. I was quite surprised at the time because Joseph never liked going to places like amusement parks. Even though he once promised me that he would go to the amusement park, I wanted to go with me when he had time. I thought I was his exception. Unexpectedly, he was not the only exception. His various restraints had been broken by another girl. It seemed like some emotion in my heart was pulling me into entering his lock screen password. The password has not changed, it's still the days I've been with him. I opened his WeChat. There is one more pinned. Sophia. Scrolling up through the chat history, he and Sophia talked about everything from what they ate every day, what interesting things they encountered, interesting classmates they met, to buying her small gifts, ordering some takeout, and inviting her to go out and play together. It turns out that the desire to share does not disappear. It just transfers from one person to another. Every word of being busy and tired that you say to me is from the little moments you have spent with Sophia. There are also many photos in Joseph's circle of friends that I have never seen. There is one comment below that particularly stands out. Joseph, when will you and Sophia officially announce it? I closed my phone indifferently. Where should I go now? Yes, I came here regardless of everything, and then where should I go? 4. Another hour passed and it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. Joseph is finally back. When he saw me, his eyes were filled with guilt. I'm sorry, Mia, I should have been here to accompany you, but something happened with Sophia. You know we are both studying abroad, and we should take care of each other when we are away from home. Mia, you will understand me, right? I turned my back and asked, what happened to her? Oh, it's nothing serious. I accidentally broke a thermos and got a few burns. It wasn't a big deal, but it would keep him there for 3 hours. Joseph noticed my mood and said impatiently, Mia, you don't need to be so hostile to Sophia. She is a very good girl, and you can become good friends. He looked at me hopefully, as if he really thought Sophia and I could become good friends. Whenever he mentioned Sophia, his words were full of praise and sympathy. I'm tired. There's no point in arguing about some things. After more than 10 hours of flight and 7 hours of waiting, I was already too tired to express myself. 5. The next morning, Joseph told me that he had no classes that day and could go out and play with me. I remembered the fun places in the UK that he mentioned to me in the previous video. Mia, it's not easy for you to come here. My mentor, the project team, and I have all taken leave. I am here to spend time with my girlfriend today. He excitedly pulled me out of bed. I didn't tell him that I had already booked the return ticket early this morning before he woke up. Joseph insisted on taking me out to play, saying it was to make up for what I did last night. I agreed. We selected several locations, concentrated near business districts. The stores he chose were all famous high-end jewelry stores. He seemed more interested than me. I never go to these stores. Although Joseph came out with me, he kept looking at his phone in the store. Seeing me standing there, he said as if to make up for it, these are all famous British brands. Take a look and see if there is anything you like. I'll give it to you. I asked him, when did you start paying attention to this? In the past, he was unfamiliar with girls' accessories and lipstick, let alone choosing a store like this as a date location. Sophia told me that girls generally like these. I thought about it and realized that you really don't have any decent jewelry. As he spoke, I saw him put down his phone, picked out a necklace and went to pay first. I asked him curiously, what are you doing? Joseph habitually said, oh, Sophia's birthday is coming up soon. She said she's liked this for a long time. I was too lazy to think about it, so I bought it for her as a gift. I smiled and said, now that you've bought it, can we go now? Joseph realized something and his eyes tensed up a little. Mia, I really came out to accompany you. Pick one and I'll give it to you. I picked one up from the counter at random. This is it. Joseph glanced at it subconsciously and said in embarrassment, Mia, change it. I bought this one for Sophia. I raised an eyebrow. Then let's go with this one. Is there any problem if I wear the same one as her? Joseph said helplessly, can you please stop making trouble? I really don't want to say this to you, but I'm not wearing this for your own good. You and Sophia are wearing the same thing, so there will naturally be comparisons, and you don't want others to talk about you, right? What this means is that Sophia and I wear the same necklace, but she is just the icing on the cake and I am just imitating her. I said nothing. Because of my low self-esteem, I didn't dare to eat more than a bite of food, and I wore a mask and a hat tightly when I went out. Because of my ugly figure, I only dared to wear loose clothes. Joseph felt sorry for me and constantly encouraged me, saying that I deserved the best things in the world. In order to be together, I have endured so much pointing and criticism, and I have been constantly attacked by negative comments. Even an ordinary photo together can become a tool for others to criticize me. But Joseph used to build up my confidence bit by bit. He said looks are just skin deep. No one sees what's inside me, so they just don't understand me. He said that he had been with me for so long, he loved me, and he thought I was pretty from the bottom of his heart. Joseph knows what words will easily make me break down. Now I have become accustomed to what people say about me. But these words were the only ones that came out of Joseph's mouth. He knew exactly how much pressure I had been under. I tried hard to hold back my tears. Joseph scratched his hair in annoyance, but still bought me the necklace. Mia, that's not what I meant. He put the necklace on me. Coincidentally, Sophia also appeared at the door of this store. There was also a handsome boy next to her. On par with Joseph. Joseph was visibly nervous. It wasn't until Sophia saw the necklace on my neck that she could no longer hold back her tears, and they rolled down her pretty face. The boy next to her also became anxious and hurried to hold her in his arms. And I just watched Joseph's reaction quietly. He clenched his palms. 1 second, 2 seconds. Finally, when Sophia turned and left, he chased after her without hesitation. 6. I calmly took off the necklace from my neck and turned to ask the clerk, "Can you return this one for me?" The clerk was a girl. She pursed her lips and thought for a long time, then slowly said, "This can be returned, but in fact it looks very beautiful on you, miss. It is very spiritual. This expensive jewelry is worthy of you. You deserve beautiful things like other girls like it. Kindness from strangers can break down a person's psychological defenses. Thank you, but please help me withdraw." I had nowhere to go with the money. I didn't know anyone here and I called Joseph, but the tone was busy. I still have my luggage at Joseph's apartment. So I turned back. Because I didn't have the key, I sat on the steps outside and waited for a long time. "Wait until your phone's battery is down to 10%. Joseph called suddenly. The surroundings were very noisy, like a bar or something. "Sorry, Mia, please walk around for a while. I can't leave right now. I still have my luggage at your apartment, and my phone is running low on battery." Joseph thought for a moment and said, "How about this, Mia? I'll send you an address. Come over here and get the key and go back first." I followed the address to a nearby bar. After I gave my name as Joseph, someone took me into the box. As soon as I walked in, I was hit by the smell of cigarettes and alcohol in the room. I spotted Joseph among the crowd, walked over and asked him for the key. A man next to me looked at me for a few seconds and asked Joseph, "Is this your relative?" Joseph avoided his gaze as if he couldn't say it. He hesitated for a long time before saying, "My girlfriend." Ah, that look was just like the malicious look that people around Joseph had gotten in the past. "You actually like this?" Others also spoke up for him. "That's right, I thought you and Sophia were a couple." Joseph lowered his head and smiled bitterly. "Sophia is so outstanding. There are so many people chasing after her. What's missing? I am one of them. We all saw that Sophia liked you, and you're the only fool who saw it. What can't be said? I'm telling you, if you dare to make Sophia sad, I'll be the first one to not forgive you." I interrupted the chatter of people around me. "We broke up so he can pursue Sophia." Then I took the key that Joseph had left on the table and turned away. Behind me, I only heard countless congratulations. "Finally broke up with the ugly girl. We are all waiting for you and Sophia to make it official. This is worth celebrating." Oh. I listened to these remarks calmly, my heart already numb. When I returned to the apartment, packed my luggage and was about to leave, my tutor suddenly called me. "Mia, I saw you took a leave to go to England. Are you still there now?" I replied, "Yes, teacher. I will be back on a later flight today. Can you refund your ticket and stay for a few more days? We have a cooperative project with T University and you can go there for me. I will reimburse your expenses." I paused. "T Big. This is Joseph and Sophia's school." Paul Harris asked in confusion. "What's the problem?" "No. By the way, you have a senior brother who is currently working in M-City, England. If you have any inconveniences there, please find your senior brother. I have informed him and he will take care of you." 7. Soon, a new verification message came. "Hello, junior sister. I am Paul." I replied. Okay. I was waiting for my senior to pick me up at the apartment door with my luggage. At this time, Joseph came back in a hurry. When he saw me, he started to question me without giving me any explanation. "What do you mean? Why are you so angry?" I pushed him away and looked into the distance. "Literally. Why are you breaking up with me for no reason? You came all the way from China, don't you mean you love me to death? Why are you throwing a tantrum again? I've already admitted to them that you're my girlfriend. I clenched my palms and felt the wind getting colder and colder. I sneered a few times and a chill surged in my heart. Is it such a worthy thing to admit that I'm your girlfriend? When I asked Joseph, he opened his mouth but had nothing to refute. Joseph, I'm tired. I've been dating you for so long. I'm really tired. Joseph finally spoke out his inner thoughts. We can break up, but you can talk to my parents. After Joseph's parents found out that I was with Joseph, they hoped more than Joseph did that I could have a good talk with him. I refused. You have such a beautiful new girlfriend, they will be very happy. Joseph frowned. My parents don't like me to have a pretty girl as my girlfriend. I smiled and said nothing. Perhaps realizing that I was really determined to break up, he spoke again to confirm. Do you really want to break up? Think about it carefully. Nowadays, everyone looks at appearance. Who else would like someone like you except me? I looked at him feeling strange. Joseph, do you still remember why you liked me before? Joseph paused and said nothing. Forget it, it's normal not to remember. If you remembered, we wouldn't have broken up. Joseph and I have been dating for a long time, so long that the memory of our initial time together has gradually become blurred, and I have forgotten why we were together. Therefore, I won't cherish it. There is a car coming this way in sight. On the other side, Sophia came running over, panting. Joseph, I saw you left without eating anything just now. I was worried that something happened to you, so I came to check on you. I took a quick glance and said, You really are conjoined twins. Sophia had tears in her eyes and suddenly bent down to me. If you want to break up because of me, I apologize to you, but please don't treat Joseph like this, he will be sad too. Every word was for Joseph's benefit. It makes me look like an unreasonable shrew. Joseph couldn't bear it, and hurried to protect her. What have you done wrong? We never did anything. Joseph, I've been thinking for a long time. Was it because Mia looked at your phone when you came to see me before? That's the only reason I can think of. Joseph saw the innocent look of the girl, and he suddenly realized something. His eyes turned cold and he looked at me. I didn't intend to hide it from him. I did watch it, it was quite exciting. Mia, why didn't you look at my phone without my consent? And since you looked at it, you should know that there is nothing wrong between Sophia and me. We are innocent. She is a girl who cares most about her reputation. Why did you say such harsh words? What did I say? I raised the volume, and all my emotions burst out at this moment. What did I say since you came back and held her hand? It was all just his subconscious favoritism and protection, assuming the worst of me. So that's when it all started, Mia. You're not good enough. You can't just be jealous of Sophia because she's pretty. Beep. A Mercedes-Benz suddenly braked in front of me. The 5-second whistle was deafening. Joseph protected Sophia's ears and was clamoring to settle the score with the car owner. Unexpectedly, the car door opened, and the man walked out of the car and straightened his suit. After seeing the appearance of the car owner, Sophia subconsciously tidied her long hair. I frowned and examined it carefully. The man walked around Sophia, came in front of me and bowed slightly. Mia, huh? I'm Paul Harris. I nodded and said, Hello, brother. Brother Harris took the suitcase from me naturally and said, Let's go. Get in the car. The car sped away. Recalling Sophia's hesitant look just now, I suddenly felt relieved. Paul Harris glanced at the rearview mirror and shook his head regretfully. They just said that to you and you were still very nice to them. Maybe I was born to be a punching bag. It is not easy to change the inferiority complex that comes from deep in your bones. Girls, you need to learn a few curse words. You can't always be so obedient. Paul Harris said and then denied himself. Forget it, forget it. The old man won't let me lead you astray. Just be yourself. It's fine now. Your teacher should have sent you the information. Prepare well in the next 2 days and make a report on his behalf at T University. I heard that there are several project teams at T University that are also researching in this direction. T University wants you to listen to their reports and give some guidance and suggestions. I give. Paul Harris touched my head. Don't worry, I've taken a preliminary look at their project proposal. There are a lot of questions. Just pick a few and you'll be fine. 8. In the following days, I concentrated on preparing the report. Joseph's parents suddenly called. They somehow found out that Joseph and I had broken up. Mia, have you and Joseph been having a quarrel recently? Joseph is always so reckless, you have to be more patient with him. I calmly replied. Uncle and Aunt, we have broken up. We are both adults and have made our decision after careful consideration. We as parents know Joseph. He definitely likes you. You have been in a cross-border relationship for so long. You went abroad to find him because you had him in your heart, right? I used to like it, but now I don't like it anymore, Uncle and Aunt. There's no need to persuade me anymore. Not long after I hung up the phone, another strange call came in. I thought about it and finally answered the call. Mia, what did you say to my parents? It was you who wanted to break up. Why do you have to drag Sophia down with you? Without thinking, I hung up the phone and blocked the number. Once the report is finished, I can return home and put an end to my time here once and for all. The day before I went to T University to report, Paul Harris sent me several project proposals from T University students. One of them happened to belong to Joseph and Sophia's team. I took a careful look. I couldn't help but laugh. It turned out that the project book he had been working on for so long only ended up like this. 9. The report hall was full of people. I followed the teacher in charge of T University to the backstage to debug the PPT. Backstage, I saw Joseph and Sophia again. They stood in one place, also waiting to copy the team's PPT. When he saw me, Joseph subconsciously let go of Sophia's hand and looked at me, seeming to want to say something. I walked around him and went to the computer to copy my PPT. On the other hand, Sophia seemed to have a lot of complaints about him. Even copying a PPT can cause them to quarrel. I felt annoyed by what I heard, so while people around me were trying to stop the fight, I walked out to the corridor to get some fresh air. Paul Harris walked over, glanced at the people backstage and said with a smile, "Oh, what a narrow road. How is it? Do you feel the pressure has increased?" I frowned and thought about their project proposal. How did they convince the teacher to approve the project? Paul Harris shook his head. I don't know about that. The report begins. I went on stage and gave a brief self-introduction. Sophia was sitting in the first row, and when she saw it was me, she frowned. That look is the look I have been enduring for so many years. It's a built-in bias. Mia, the teacher next to Sophia asked her, "Do you know this girl? She is very capable and her mentor is also a great person in this field. If you want to delve deeper into this field, learn more from her." Another boy in Joseph's team said unhappily, "That's his ex-girlfriend." The teacher was a little surprised. "You have such an outstanding ex-girlfriend? She dumped you?" "He dumped her. What a shame." Joseph looked at me with a complicated expression and didn't leave for a long time. I pretended not to see it and reported the results of our team's latest research in a clear and logical manner. There was applause from the audience. "I've heard that Mr. Harris has an excellent student. Today I saw that he is indeed a good student. It can be considered that there is a successor." I stepped down from the stage amid praises and sat down as a judge. Next, it was Joseph's turn to report on their project. Unexpectedly, the 3 members from Joseph's team were in very bad condition. There were no less than 10 mistakes in the report, and even the PPT was full of loopholes, as if it was rushed out at the last minute. I listened to the whole thing with a frown on my face. Sophia stood on the stage with her lips pursed, not saying a word. There was constant criticism from the audience. "She's so beautiful, but I didn't expect she could make a PPT like this. Don't judge a book by its cover. I guess you spend all your time on dating." The microphone was passed to my lips and I made a sharp comment. "The workload is not enough. I want to do the most basic work of the team first, based on other more constructive suggestions. Let's not talk about the content first. Your team failed to pay attention to the most basic things like typesetting, not to mention the details of the content." Compared to her usual proud look, this time Sophia, as the respondent, lowered her head, her face flushed with shame. Paul Harris came over and said in a low voice, "I just asked around and it seems that this girl was caught cheating on 2 men, and they were both from the same team. In fact, the study abroad circle is not that big. Anything that happens will spread throughout the circle. It seems that this girl hooked up with 2 core members of the team just to have the first signature on this project. Your ex-boyfriend must have been deceived by her. In this way, the man next to her who was last seen in the business circle must be Sophia's boyfriend. Oh yeah, her other boyfriend didn't give up so easily. It was said that she was having an affair with a British teacher at T University, and was his mistress. Maybe she really thinks her beauty is her asset, and she can play with so many men. Paul Harris continued to nag at the side. I don't think she's that good-looking. There are many girls in the world who are prettier than her. It's a bit noisy. Ah, I interrupted him. I said you were a bit noisy. Oh, you've become more capable now. You're starting to give your senior brother some advice. 10. After the report, I declined Professor T's invitation to dinner. I'm in a hurry to get home. Joseph ran out in a hurry, his hair messed up by the wind because of his anxiety. Mia, wait. I called you many times later but you didn't answer. I asked him strangely. What's the matter? He paused, taking a moment to accept my tone. Are you still angry? I shook my head. Joseph seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw and told me happily. Mia, actually Sophia and I are not together. I followed up on his question and asked, so? He said in a humble tone. Can we go back to the way we were before? No. Joseph glanced at Paul Harris next to me and suddenly sneered. That's right. You already have another man by your side. It seems that you came here for another man. You're still pretending to come to see me and how much you love me, but I think it's all fake. By the way, senior brother, Mia must have been delayed in many things these days because of her menstrual period. Pa. I slapped him without hesitation. He said in a deep voice, wipe your mouth before you speak. 11. After that day, the legal wife of the teacher that Sophia had hooked up with came to the school and presented evidence in front of all the teachers and students. Every picture is evidence of their immoral lifestyle. Sophia knelt down and begged her to let her go, begged Joseph, begged her ex-boyfriend, and begged the teacher. No one could save him. Sophia was publicly punished for her behavior at school, and was eventually expelled amid everyone's curses. At the same time, Joseph's project was withdrawn by T University. Countless insults were heaped upon them. As enviable as they were when they were together, they are as disgusting now. This incident spread like wildfire throughout the entire overseas study circle, and Joseph chose to drop out of school and return home amid the bad words. On the day he returned home, he found me again. Looks very tired. He is no longer as sunny and handsome as he used to be. Mia, didn't you ask me to recall why I liked you? I have never forgotten it. I remember that you were always helping me, speaking well of me in front of my parents and teachers. You touched me little by little, Mia. I will always remember your kindness. It was so pure to like someone at that time. He was in his rebellious period at that time and his family encountered misfortune. He repeatedly violated school rules and regulations and was punished by the school. It was me who begged the teacher and his parents to prevent him from being abandoned. Said he was actually very good. At that time, all the parents and teachers liked an obedient and well-behaved child like me, so they softened their hearts towards me and forgave Joseph. But it also reminds me to spend less time with bad boys like Joseph. This was the first time I didn't listen to my teachers and parents, and was determined to stand on his side. Seeing that I could solve troublesome teachers, he also got used to being with me. We stayed together until high school. I got in on my own and he got in through connections. The closer I got to Joseph, the more trouble he caused me. But at that time, because I liked it, I was not afraid of trouble, and have the courage to stand up to those bad comments. But now I really don't like him. It doesn't matter anymore, including the memories with him. After hearing what he said, I just nodded at him. Let's not meet again in the future. And never see you again. Paul Harris saw all this from upstairs and couldn't help but sigh. He saw your excellence, so he came to win you back. I thought of the past and asked him, do good-looking people naturally work less hard than others? Everyone has their own shining points. Some are good-looking, and some have strong learning abilities. But the more you go on, the more you realize that ability is more important than appearance. People's energy and time are limited. Compared with studying how to become beautiful, studying your professional project is obviously more suitable for you and more profitable. Later, I really got over my inferiority complex. Don't rely on the comfort of other people's sugar-coated bullets. Instead, we gain the respect of others through our gradual progress. After that, no one used my appearance to attack me anymore. When people mention me, most of the words they use are like solid professional knowledge, strong learning ability, outstanding abilities, and excellent. I looked into the distance and slowly curled my lips. I deserve someone better. And deserve a better future.